dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. Happy Thursday to you. I'm Amelia Lee here on this July 31st at 6:31 this morning, and it's time for a check of our weather with Megan Dusmal. Megan, what's up for this Thursday?
Well, I'll tell you what's up. It's going to be that fog. We're going to have dense fog this morning that will continue for the next little bit, especially as we're waiting for that sun to heat up the ground. We're going to have the densest fog as you travel more towards the north this morning. Moorhead, Logan, and Ashland all looking at low visibility. Now we will head into the next couple hours while we're nice and calm this morning. We'll have some slight chances for some rain heading into the middle of the day, and then as we head into the afternoon and evening, that's when we'll start to see some storm chances rolling through the region. Current temperatures sitting in the low 70s. We'll head into the afternoon and we are looking at those low 90s. Definitely looking forward to seeing upper 70s and low 80s tomorrow. Amelia.
A Martin County man is facing charges after being accused of assaulting two women, one of them pregnant. On Monday, Martin County Sheriff deputies were called to a home in the Inez community for a domestic situation. According to the citation, Kendrick Sarton reportedly shoved his pregnant sister. Police say the mother told them Sarton struck her with a closed fist. First responders have a word of warning for folks who are fishing at a popular spot on a southern Kentucky river. They're telling people to stay away from the Cumberland River next to Wolf Creek Dam. Twice since last Friday, boaters have gotten too close to that area in Russell County. Folks new to the area hear fish stories and end up getting close to the danger zone. 3 were rescued Friday, all pulled from the water, and 2 others got stuck Tuesday.
They want to get close. They want to get close. Like I said, they want to catch that big fish. And that big fish is not worth their life.
Officials say when water is being released under the dam, it comes out at 12,000 gallons a minute, and that force alone could kill you. A Rockcastle County woman is facing charges after she was accused of assaulting her mother. Tuesday, police were called to a home in Mount Vernon. When police later made contact with the victim, she told them Erin Murphy was high on meth and had pushed her onto the couch. She also told police that Murphy began swinging a knife and making stabbing motions toward her. Officials say there have been 58 reported instances of copper wire theft on AT&T lines throughout Kentucky this year alone, with 33 of those reported in Pike County. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more about the county's plea for people to speak up.
A recent meeting in Pike County has officials hoping to cut down on instances of thieves cutting into copper wire.
You know, Pike County is one of the highest areas that they've had hit.
County officials met with representatives from AT&T last week to discuss the company's issue, saying more than 1/2 of the reported instances of copper wire theft in Kentucky this year were in Pike County.
It is a felony to get caught doing this, and you know, we need the public's help. We don't have the resources or the manpower, and the state police doesn't have the resources or the manpower to put somebody up every holler.
Officials say thieves will cut down sections of the wire used to run the AT&T services, remove the outer shell, and sell the copper as scrap metal.
They're going places where there's no homes. You know, you might go up a holler, stretch of road, you know, 1/2 mile or something, and you know, not be a home. Or that's the places they're hitting. And what they do is lots of times they'll go and they may go and cut the line and let it hang there and then go back, you know, later and actually get the rest of it.
Causing communication issues for anyone who relies on the service for telephone or internet, and creating chaos for first responders.
You know, a lot of places the cell phones don't work, and you know, it could be really bad. You know, somebody's life could be in danger or anything.
Sheriff Rodney Scott says the downed lines not only create concerns for drivers, but could be fatal to the person committing the crime.
Oh, if they mess up and cut the wrong line, they could end up dead.
Which is why the county is asking for tips from the public to help find the culprits, hoping to save lives and save the company from costly repairs. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials say the company is willing to pay rewards for information in some instances, and all tips can be called in to 911, the sheriff's office at 606-432-6260, or the anonymous tip line at 606-766-5555. A man entered a guilty plea in a deadly shooting case in Whitley County. Martin, Canada pleaded guilty earlier this week to first-degree manslaughter and first-degree wanton endangerment. He was originally charged with murdering Kyle Chadwell after the situation started as an argument, which happened in 2022. As part of the plea deal, he's recommended to serve a total of 15 years. Now, as we recognize the anniversary of the July 2022 flood, some folks are looking back at the tragedy and now thinking about how far we've come as Eastern Kentuckians. I spoke with folks on how they're now keeping a closer eye on preparing for a flood before it strikes and getting loved ones permanently out of the floodplains. Flood preparedness and high ground housing going hand in hand.
Being prepared and ready to respond is our #1 goal.
Perry County Emergency Management Director Jerry Stacy has been working to keep Perry Countyans safe since before the July 2022 flood. He says after coming out of that tragedy of the 1,000-year flood, they've learned to be more efficient.
After experiencing that kind of an event, you know, any kind of warning now, they're super aware of what's going on and concerned. And naturally, anybody would be.
But the work does not stop after preparing for a natural disaster. It continues in the days, months, and in some cases, years after. That's why the Housing Development Alliance is continuing its work, making sure folks can find high ground housing to stay safe and dry.
One of the things the 2025 flood, I think, reinforces is the wisdom to trying to relocate as many people as possible away from a flooding danger.
HDA high ground development sites are in Perry, Knott, Breathitt, Letcher, and Floyd counties, with contractors putting in the work to get folks moved back into their forever homes.
It's a real testament to their fortitude and to just our community, and you know, it takes everybody working together, the local governments, the state governments, the nonprofits.
To this day, HGA has helped 151 flood survivors move into their new high ground homes. In Perry County, Amelia Lee, WYMT, Mountain News. The Housing Development Alliance is still accepting folks to apply for housing. You can go to housingcan'twait.org to see if you qualify and to apply for high ground housing in the Commonwealth. On Tuesday, August 5th, police in London will be out and about. The occasion to celebrate community. National Night Out is an event that police departments throughout the country host to get to know those they serve. Officer Hobie Doherty says London's Night Out will have things for people of all ages.
It's really a fun event for everybody. We have a lot of local vendors that like to come out and set up and give free items away to the children.
You can get out now.
Doherty says the police department has partnered with other first responders for the event and that the fire department will set up their hoses on the splash pad and medical helicopters will also be there. Well, a rare opportunity for the Huntington Fire Department and other first responders has come back to Huntington for the first time in about 15 years. The CSX Training cars, once fully operational train cars, now are used to give first responders a chance to practice in the situation of a real-life train disaster.
It is something that we don't get to see that often. You know, we train on rail incidents, for our hazmat team trains on rail incidents, but it's very rare do we actually get to have this safety train here.
The train cars will only be around yesterday, but the fire department is hopeful that they can get the cars back here again next year for some additional trainings. A road widening project in Connley County is getting a new start date after a pause in construction. The Cross Lanes Road Widening Project will resume on August 4th. That's according to the project's website. The project started in August of 2023 and was supposed to be finished last month, but a pause in construction delayed the completion. The West Virginia Department of Transportation says the pause put the project about a year behind schedule. They're expecting it to be complete by this time next year.
You can get out now, pretty good. But when that starts and it goes back to the 2 lanes where I'm sure they're going to be using that little extra lane they put in, it's going to be bad.
The West Virginia Department of Transportation says the pause put the project about a year behind schedule. They're expecting it to be complete by this time next year. Well, some folks in Tennessee have raised concerns about safety after a 16-year-old high school football player died during the weekend from a heat stroke. Joshua Henderson's mother says he'd been in the hospital fighting for his life after passing out on the football field at a high school around 30 miles from Memphis earlier this month. Schools have been forced to change practice routines in order to be in compliance with state regulations.
Our team is mature enough now that we can still get good work in the gym, and that's where we've been the last 2 days. You know, it's unfortunate that you start fall camp and you have to be inside, but our biggest job is to keep these young men safe, right? And so we're trying to make them the best men they can be.
Any parents with concerns about the heat regulations can contact their children's school or the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association. A new honor for fallen Scott County Deputy Caleb Connley. Connley was a devoted public servant who was killed during a traffic stop in May of 2023. Tuesday, the Scott County Fiscal Court presented a resolution to name the road that leads to the new sheriff's office after Connley. After some debate, they decided to name the road Caleb Connley Way. And coincidentally, the address of the new sheriff's office has ties to Connley, too.
The official address of the actual sheriff's office being 240. The significance is
that was his unit number.
So that was his unit number, and you know, having the sheriff's office 240, Caleb Connley.
The Scott County Fiscal Court voted unanimously in favor of the resolution. They chose way instead of court to reflect Deputy Connley's way of service.
As you're heading into this morning, you can expect those temperatures sitting in the low 70s, about what we saw throughout the most of the week, actually. Then we head into the afternoon and we're going to look at those low 90s, a little bit cooler than yesterday. Feels like temperatures will be in the upper 90s, but a significant switch in the forecast is on the way as we head into tomorrow. Cooler temperatures for your Friday. Now we do see some clouds rolling through and a little chance of that storm activity popping up as we're heading into the afternoon and evening hours. Here's what you need to know throughout the day. We'll see temperatures in the 70s in the morning. In the middle of the day, we're looking at the low 80s, and we do have those chances of storms in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Stay with us. More Mountain News is on the way.